Hey, there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube about generating ground forces with your golf swing. And of course, it's very beneficial to do this, but I bet if you've watched any of these videos, you might have found them a little either too technical or maybe too gimmicky. So right after this, I want to cover how you generate the right amount and a large amount of ground forces, but we're going to try to keep it really simple. I'm going to show you how the motions will help create the forces. So if you want to hit it longer and straighter by doing things right, but keeping it simple, then by all means, stay tuned. Hey, this is Steve from HitItLonger.com. I'm the first one to profess I do not have a perfect swing. Instead, I'm on a journey to hit the ball longer and straighter from tee to green. If you share in that same desire, I hope you'll join me and hit the subscribe button. All right, so what are ground reaction forces? Well, we're gonna push force into the ground by attempting to move our joints. The ground is going to absorb that, push it back into us, and actually, the ground forces are what causes the joints to move, but the intention to move them comes first. The signal from the brain down to the joints. The ground is not creating force on its own. It's a reaction. So the brain sends the signal, the impulse down to the muscles recruit, they start to fire, they try to move. That's what's starting to generate the ground forces. Now everybody's got ground forces in every swing they've ever made, unless of course you were sitting on a stool with your feet off the ground, or maybe jumping off a high dive and taking a swing from jumping off a 10-meter high dive, then you wouldn't have any ground forces. The problem is that most golfers, they don't generate enough ground forces and they don't generate optimal or efficient ground forces. Now, ground forces are measured by a force plate, a big plate on the ground. I've put a picture of one big laboratory style one up here in the corner of the screen. It's almost as big as this mat, and it's split in half so you can isolate right and left feet. So ground forces are measured in 3 dimensions. You can measure them vertically, but you can also measure them in the X and Y axis. So this would create a ground force this way. This would create a ground force this way. So 3 different dimensions. We've got to have them all optimal in order to hit the ball long and straight. Now don't tune away just yet. That's the end of the technical mumbo jumbo. Now let's figure out how we're gonna generate all these beautiful forces just by making the right actions in the joints. The ground forces will simply take care of themselves. Now especially we're gonna concentrate on the Z-axis or the downwards axis to generate a whole ton of vertical ground forces that really helps to anchor our body. Once it's anchored, it can turn a lot faster and we can whip the club faster than ever before once we have that brace to hit against by creating lots of vertical ground force. Now the best way to do that is with a powerful pivot. It's not with effort, it's just making the joints move in an efficient way. Now watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to load up my weight on the straight right leg in what a move I would call getting tall. So I'm going to get tall here by straightening the right knee. I'm going to pull it slightly flexed at address. I'm going to pull it into extension, and I'm going to swing my right hip. Yes, I'm going to break the line rule. I'm not going to keep it contained inside that line I've got on the screen here. I'm going to push it outside that as far as I can without allowing the foot to roll to the outside. So then you know you've gone too far. Resist inwards with the muscles here in the thigh. Now, from here, I've got my left knee flexed towards the middle. I've got my right side very tall due to the straightening of the knee and the tilting of my spine. That's making the right side, making me get very tall. With this knee kicking like this, it's very similar to the way a pitcher, a power pitcher, is getting tall at the top of his windup by kicking the leg up and back, straightening the back leg. You do not see power pitchers with a lot of flex. You might see a knuckleball pitcher or a finesse pitcher, but a power pitcher gets tall. Therefore, they can step and they can crash down into the ground as they step down. The same thing with our golf swing, that of a power style wind-up pitcher. Get tall first. Unweight that left foot, just like a pitcher does. Unweight it this way. Get tall. Now, second phase, we're going to get heavy. We're going to get heavy. How are we going to do that? Well, just for the fact that I have now swung the center of my mass, which is halfway between my belly button and my belt buckle. So it's right about here, and you'll see that I've swung it in an arc. This is the edge you get doing this way over every other method. They're not going to tell you to swing the center of mass in an arc to match the unwind part where you are going to swing it in the arc in the other direction. So we're just finishing this U shape with the center of mass. That'll enable us to go through these 3 steps I'm talking about. Get tall. Now I'm going to step down onto the left heel. And I'm going to start making my pivot going the opposite way, like a mirror image. So I'll step down and I'll start to switch the knees. And you'll see as I'm in the process of that, I'm going to end up right in this position, this kind of squatty look with both knees flexed. This is where I'm going to be heavy. So I've gotten heavy, almost drop as if you were on an analog scale. Watch this. If you were to get tall and then like that, you're going to make the scale spin around and maybe go way past 300 pounds, maybe as much as double your body weight. So a 200-pound person could push 400 pounds into the ground when they get tall and then they get heavy. Tall, heavy, step down and start to switch the knees. Now I've got the mirror image. I've got my left hip pushed through this line about 6 inches, and I'm flexing this knee towards the middle and I'm unweighting this foot. It's just sitting on the ground almost like a useless appendage because I have transferred all of the weight into now an extending left knee. So we have the opposite conditions on this side of the ball as we've already hit through the ball. My center of mass here has completed the U shape or the arc, turning upwards as my leg extends. My spine tilts this way, gets my left side very tall again. So I go back to the tall position, and this going from tall to heavy, back to tall again. That transition is what puts a magnificent amount of vertical ground forces for us that helps us move even faster than ever before. So again, it's tall. Straighten that knee out. Don't lock it, just straighten it. The tilt of the spine gets everything swinging up in an arc, getting your right side really tall. Crashing down, get heavy. Get tall again right out of the heavy. And just learn those motions, and the ground forces are going to go crazy without you trying to just simply concentrate on manipulating them. So again, it is the motion of the hips, knees, and ankles that help leverage the spine and make the spine swing on an arc, makes the center of mass swing back and up, down and back up again. Boy, if you were going to punch somebody, man, that would be knock them right out of the ring if you could punch somebody with that kind of force. All right, let me take a swing. Let's see if we can pick out going tall to going heavy to going tall again. All right, so you can see in the slow-mo replay that my belly button, my center of mass, is swinging back, winding up away from the target and going upwards as my right leg straightens and my right hip gets high. You can clearly see that the hips or the belt line is tilted 20 or 30 degrees. And then I come crashing down on that left heel, boom, like that, as I start to flex that right knee in. And then I'm getting tall on through. Man, that enables me to swing very, very fast without the sensation that I'm trying hard. So it becomes the difference between swinging hard and just swinging fast. My arms and wrists feel very relaxed. The arc and the leverage is doing all the heavy lifting for me. All right, so how are you going to incorporate this into your game? Well, first you're going to make lots and lots of mirror swings. First, go through the steps and pause. Get tall. Again, think of it like a baseball pitcher winding into that extended back leg, coming crashing off the mound, planting that foot hard, and then turning and straightening it again as they push their pelvis targetwards. We're going to do the same thing here. Practice in front of the mirror. Tall, heavy, tall again on the left side. Then you can take that idea to the driving range, work on it with some softer swings, kind of slow motion swings, work at it a little bit each time you go to the range, and then hopefully soon your swing will start to take on some of these characteristics. You start producing more powerful and efficient ground forces, not just downwards, but at all three dimensions. And you'll start hitting the ball longer and straighter. Hey, I'm Steve. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll head over to my website, hititlonger.com, for over 100 more great articles and videos that I think are going to help you improve your game. And as usual, I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.